Hello, welcome back to Realign Podcast, where we talk about spiritual growth, self alignment, and good vibrations, high vibrations. I hope we are all in tune, aligned on that same frequency. We're talking about visualization. Why is visualization so important? Why is it so special? What can happen through visualization? So let's get into it. Visualization is the key to your success simply because with visualization, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can paint this picture in your mind and focus on it long enough, you can have it, you can attract it, you can get in an alignment with that. So we're going to talk about how to get there and what are some good techniques that I've used in my personal life on how to align yourself with where you want to be, your success, and all that good stuff. You know, it's actually quite funny because you visualize things every single day unintentionally. Like I'll come up with like random scenarios in my brain that never happened, never existed, and I'll like play into it in my brain. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then what? Like just fights and like just random stuff that doesn't make any sense, but we naturally do it. So what happens when we intentionally visualize? What kind of energetic effect does that have on our lives? And goals will help us get there. So once we could kind of see what we want, we could set goals in alignment with how we're going to get there and what it's going to take of us to get there. We have to set time aside every day to really focus on this. I remember reflecting back to when I first started meditating. I would visualize so much. I would meditate every day for an hour. Sometimes I'd fall asleep in my meditation and I would visualize like how I wanted, where I wanted to be, how I would get out of there. And sometimes it wasn't all clear. I feel like sometimes they're like, oh, you have to be clear with what you want. Yes, in a sense, yes, be clear with what you want so you can get exactly what you want. But if you're just kind of general, you're going to get something general back. Like me, I wasn't very specific, but I ended up liking where it got me. I ended up attracting things that I needed. But it is good to be specific. So I use meditation. Now, some people can't meditate. That's fine. But there's another technique. It's called PETTLEP. What does that mean? Okay. I'm going to read the acronyms for you. So physical. How does your future look? What do you see? What is in this future for you? What are you wearing? Where's your hair? Like little things like that. Environment. Where do you see yourself? Where are you? What are you looking at? Are you looking at palm trees? I'm looking at palm trees right now. Or are you looking at some pine trees? Where are you? And be specific. Ask. All right. What are we doing? What is this? What are we doing out here in front of these palm trees? What is our task? Timing. What are your constraints? When do you want this to occur? Like, when is this going to happen on your timeline? Learning. What is your skill level? What do you need to learn in order to get to that mindset or that environment? What skills do you need in order to get there? Emotional. How do you feel when you're here? How does being in this place that you dream of, how do you feel? Because that is the most important, how you feel. Because sometimes we imagine ourselves in this life, in this glorious life, and we're like, oh my gosh, I know I would feel so amazing if I was here and I had this and I had that and I had these friends and I had the perfect husband or I had the perfect girlfriend and I would feel perfect, But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you have to feel good now. You have to be complacent. You have to be good now. You have to feel good now. So when you get there, you're not missing this void. You're not filling this void. You're just following your path. You're just going with your future, but you have to be good within yourself first. Perspective. What are your thoughts now? What kind of person are you now that you could visualize this future for yourself? And now you just have a whole different perspective on life. You relocated yourself. You're around different people. You're getting inspired by all different things. Like, what is your perspective? This acronym was used for like professional athletes, swimmers, just like really highly successful people. This was created around, I think like I saw 2001. So this has been around for a minute. People have been using this technique I prefer meditation. Obviously, for me, it's just easier. The only difference I do is I kind of use my senses instead. I try to visualize with my five senses as well. What do I smell? What am I wearing? What color is my hair? What kind of woman I am? Like all these tiny little things kind of add up. Very similar to the idea, but the other one is a little more structured. Visualization does actually create neural pathways in your brain to help you start creating and feel like you're succeeding. You'll really start to be this different person. You're going to shift a perspective of, okay, I visualized it, I saw it, and I could do it now. Now that I saw I could do it in my head, I know that it's possible. It's not just an idea. We're going to make this come true. So, your brain, when you create these neural pathways, you start acting like it, you start aligning yourself like you already got it. Like, your brain will naturally affect all your emotions and all these things, and it's kind of insane, like how if we were to really take this seriously, like I'm like you're rewiring your brain. When you visualize something, you could literally rewire your whole brain and your whole perspective on whatever it is. You're training your brain to focus on certain thoughts and specific outcomes. So I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this, but in one of my episodes, I spoke about how when you don't have like any resources, like you're like, well, I don't have the money and I don't know how I'm going to get there. Okay. When you start and you're focused and you're locked in and you really truly believe that, I saw this vision in my head for myself, I saw this family, I saw this, house, whatever it is, your body and your brain is going to start giving you the tools naturally to pursue this. And resources come out of nowhere. They feel like they come out of thin air. Again, I'm re-enhancing this because I've experienced this. They almost feel like they come out of nowhere, but you are slowly acting and becoming this person through visualization, whereas you will start attracting things that you need because you are on that vibration and you know what you want. When you feel good and you believe that it is possible, you will attract everything that you need in your life. Thing is that you're more open. You're more open to new opportunities, new people, because you've set yourself apart, because you figured out what it is that you wanted, or at least an idea that you had. So I think the key is kind of just like allowing visualization into your daily life. That little habit of just giving yourself 20 minutes a day to even visualize like what it is that I want. And the more you do it, the more intense it becomes and the more momentum flows within you and around you. Harness the power of your mind and create positive changes in your life and achieve your goals. Consistent visualization will rewire your brain to focus on the influence your attitude, behaviors, and emotions will have, and it will help you stay motivated. It's this change, it's this transcendental change that once you set your intention, everything follows. Things change and everything follows. That energy is flowing. That energy is flowing towards that idea. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. This is my favorite thing to say. So also what really helps is creating that vision board. Once you can visualize what you want, putting it up on a board and looking at it every day and having it remind you so we don't forget, because you could keep things in your mind, but there's things that are constantly going in and out of your mind all day long and you don't know what's being kept, what's gone. Like I'll think of a cool, crazy idea and it's in my head gone the next second. So it's like, how can we, permanently set this idea apart is by creating that vision board and having that be in our face every day to remind us like, hey, remember what you wanted? That's literally what it does. It's just like, it'll be staring at you in the corner of your room, wherever you decide to put it. It's like, hey, remember me? You thought you forgot? Oh, okay. I'll just be, over here in this corner until you remember why you started. So that's also a really good reminder. Get to visualizing. Visualize what you want. Believe in yourself. Believe it can be done, because it can. And, your situation, whatever situation you're in, does not define you. We know this, yes. However, it also doesn't define your future. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. If you can visualize a life for yourself, people constantly do this. So, what makes you think that you can't do it? Which is the confusing part, because people come from all sorts of types of different parts of the world, third world, escape the most craziest situations. And you're sitting here, I'm not saying maybe you didn't have a similar upbringing, but like, people have come from crazy. You can do that. People have come from the impossible. You can do this all through visualization, and there is no excuses. Just get to it and figure it out, what it is that you want in your life. You will start to align yourself with it. It is so important to feel this belief in yourself, this inner desire that this is definite. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to go after. I hope we're all having a beautiful day. Always blessed to be here. I love recording. I love doing this. Hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to Realign Podcast.